when you're older, you can't do certain things that you did when you were younger. But age, you could be younger in spirit and more alive than somebody in their 20s. Each piece has its own individual essence, but they're all tied in to a similar theme. And the shape piece is kind of like the world we live in, and the remnant is like the inner world, the inner soul.
People refer to you as very young, even though you're 85. So I want to know, what's the secret in having a young soul?
I connect with life. I'm very available to receiving, and I have much passion in what I do and in life itself. I don't believe in anything as final. I believe in beginnings, so I feel everything is a different beginning. Art is very healing to oneself and to others that are involved in appreciating it. And I feel that in myself. I feel like I have that quality, that it's a direct source that comes through me, my energy. And I think you feel it in the work. My work is about a world within worlds, because I go deep into the way I exist, the way I think. I could first look at a person and they could be a beautiful looking person or interesting, but right away to me it's the essence of who they are that I feel. Hi, I'm Geraldine Neuwirth. I'm an artist. I've been here at Manor for about 12 years. I am also, right now I have a studio here, and I'm working in the hallway on an invitational series called The Highlight, which we'll see later on.
Can you talk about like the influences? Like how did you find your style to be like this style?
I started as a figurative painter. I've been painting for 50 years. I started as a figurative painter, and the minute I started to paint, I became obsessed with painting, and I loved painting the figure or doing self-portraits, and I thought that's what I'd be doing forever. And then I started involving myself with spiritual reading, thinking about life and abstract thoughts and philosophy. And before I knew it, one day I just lost interest in the figure. I thought, oh my God, what's happening? And I started going into this abstract language that I noticed I was developing, no matter what I'd be drawing on newspaper or paper, and there was this kind of language that I had inside me. And so that's been developing now for the last, I'd say, 35 years. And along the way, I've had many different I've been influenced in many ways by artists and by life experiences. I am 85 years old, and I've had a very, very full life. I've dealt with tremendous joy and tremendous hardship, and they've all influenced what I do, especially the difficult time in my life. It kind of transformed me, and my work and my inner self became, I'd say, much more powerful and aware. My intuition got much stronger, and trust in myself and my language also developed along the way from those experiences. The work also, I grew up around the theater. My father worked for Schubert theaters, so I would go to a lot of rehearsals and openings. And the rehearsals, I'd be sitting in a dark theater watching them rehearse with this bright lighted stage, and it was like this other world. And so that other world kind of creeped into my abstract work. I noticed it, and then it developed also into the circus, because to me, they're both about a world within a world, and also it's like people are here on this world performing. So it has to do with the circus and the stage. So the essence, that's what the external images are kind of about, but the internal importance of the theme has to do with the spiritual essence and inner energy, because I believe strongly that everything comes through us, our vision. Everything we think and we say creates our own reality. And so when I make my work, I am very much in that, as that's how I exist in the world. And my work comes through that. So it's interesting to me. So I've developed and seen this body of this language developed within me. And so it's like, say someone that's even cooking and they have different recipes and they could take things from that. I have this language that's within me, and it just opens up within all my work. So each piece has its own individual essence, but they're all tied in to a similar theme. And along the way, I also started building, and I've become very interested in making shape pieces. I've developed a body of work making these shaped works. I was influenced also by Frank Stella, by Elizabeth Murray. I love building and I love drawing. So a lot of those elements are in my work. And I also like the element of combining. I like combining finished pieces with unfinished, even within the same piece, and combining a show with the black and white pieces with strong color. I also offer the shapes that I make when there are these what I call remnants. It's unedited energy that comes from carving out the shape more or less, adding pieces, taking away, sketching. And when I moved my first shape piece and saw what was on the wall, I was just like, wow, this is as powerful as the piece itself. So the shape piece is kind of like the world we live in, and the remnant is like the inner world, the inner soul. So that's very much about what's been going on with my work.
Wow.
Yeah.
People refer to you as very young, even though you're 85. So I want to know, what's the secret in having a young soul?
The secret. Well, first of all, my father he died in his 80s, but he always looked very young. So I guess in my genes, I look much, I'm 85, and people always like, oh, you're 85. But I think the essence really of my looking or feeling younger or existing in a much younger way is I connect with life, and I'm very alive. I'm very available to receiving, and I have much passion in what I do and in life itself with anything that, so many different things move me: music, theater, walking into a store, talking to a person. I'm very connected. I think connecting, allowing yourself to be open and curious, and also a big one is gratitude. Because of everything that I've experienced, I have enormous gratitude. I'm so thankful and appreciative of what I have and who I am, and I don't mean that for every second. I'm not just like that, but that's the overall essence of how I feel. I've been tested in many ways. I've dealt with much loss in my life, and from that I've received a tremendous gift, and that is the spirit of life. God bless you.
Sorry.
The spirit of life. And I think that, again, connecting, being interested, it's just a natural thing with me. I think a lot of people have those qualities and they don't allow themselves the time to receive the gift that comes with that. So that's I'm grateful for every day I have now. Hopefully, live to 100 and working and healthy. That's what I'd like.
So, what do you think about death, if you don't mind me asking?
Well, I don't believe in death as it is. I believe in within a life, one lives and dies many lives. I feel like I've gone through a tremendous rebirth recently, actually, because of all the experiences I've gone through. They've kind of formed together to create this powerful energy that I feel in myself. Death, I feel, is moving on. I don't believe in anything is final. I believe in beginnings. So I feel everything is a different beginning. I can't say what it is like to die, or I've never had a near-death experience. But I mean, I've lost a son and both my parents, and I feel a communication with them at times. I could feel their presence. I could talk to them in my own way or think about them, and I believe that once someone, it has to do also with vibration, because we exist on a certain vibration, different people in different vibrations, but once you leave this material world, you exist on a totally different vibration. So I believe that they're able to tune in here at times, but you have to be at a certain vibration to receive, if you want to say, messages or their available spirit, or when they come in, or open to when they're actually there. I think a lot of times people miss that. They don't realize that those people that have moved on can communicate in different ways. If you're open to it, you can receive that. So that's how I feel. And it's like with age too. I don't really, you talk about being young. I think age is such a number. I mean, you feel it certainly physically. When you're older, you can't do certain things that you did when you were younger. But age, you could be younger in spirit and more alive than somebody in their 20s and be in your 80s. So if you have that spirit and desire and passion and focus, age doesn't matter.
You are also very youthful in your colors, like all the high saturations and the strong contrast.
Oh, really? You think they're youthful?
Yeah, a lot of artists, when they move into older ages, choose like the more like stable colors, like the Morandi type of thing.
Oh, well, Morandi, I mean, I love Morandi's work, but Morandi's grays. I mean, he's been grays, that's what, he was very much grays, browns. Yeah, I guess, everybody, of course, I think this time in my life, I'm so, when I started painting, I painted 15 years from the figure. It was very intense, psychological, very dark, moody. And then I started going through this thing. I think it's just what's happened to me over the lifetime. I have tremendous appreciation and joy. And I mean, I love that I'm able to come to have a studio and create art and, connect with the world that way. I also feel that art is very healing to oneself and to others that are involved in appreciating it. And I feel that in myself. I feel like I have that quality, that it's a direct source that comes through me, my energy. And I think you feel it in the work. It's not just even about the color, it's just, you could feel strong energy. I mean, people have been telling me that forever, every time they come in the studio. And the bright colors, I don't know, I guess, sometimes even the darker pieces, like that darker piece, has an essence of light in it. It's never dark, dark. I guess I just somehow go to that place. In, even in that piece over there, the cardboard piece, it's called On My Way. I mean, there's an element of, that's very much like a circus to me, that piece. It just has, they have an uplifting spirit to them. And I think I kind of exist in that way. I'm much more positive. I certainly and not, again, positive all the time. And I've been through many difficult times where I'm very sad and I come through tremendous loss or whatever. But I reach a place of appreciation, and I look at it like a gift because I believe everything is there to teach you something.
And you stack a lot of like layers of movements and everything too.
Well, the layers, my life is very, very, very layered. You know, since I'm a child, really, I've had a lot of different experiences in my life, and so that stretched me in a wide way to understand a lot of different things and people and situations. And it's like also, again, from the theater on, my work is about a world within worlds, because I go deep into the way I exist, the way I think. You know, I mean, I could have a playful, fun time and not get into a deep conversation, but I exist, that's how I exist in the world. I exist on many levels. I don't just meet a person and look at them. I mean, I could first look at a person and they could be a beautiful looking person or interesting, but right away to me it's the essence of who they are that I feel, and that's what I gravitate towards all the time. You know, I either feel I want to explore that more, or I want to stay away from that because it doesn't feel like it fits with where I am or who I am.
Let's say in 100 years, where do you think these things will continue to?
You know, it depends on what happens. I'm hoping these works get out there in museums, and I'm focusing on certain galleries that I'd like to show in, or I just like them to be seen and to be able to talk to people and experience different experiences through the career. As far as, and I hope my work gets out there so that people can see it. And I feel like I relate also to Helma Clint. You know her work? No. She was a woman, she died many years ago, and she didn't want her work to be seen for 20 years, but she was very spiritually based. She was actually a channeler. She was much more involved that way. And I touch with her that the language, and there's an essence in my work I believe it's healing. That's how I feel. So I would like that to exist out in the world, and to help in different ways. I feel like myself and my work are all together that way, and I feel like I have those qualities. Especially when I relate to somebody too, you know, just for a moment, because healing could be like even talking to you. It's not just you. Right away, you're doing a video, it gets out to many people. That video gets out to even more people. You talk to someone, oh, I was at an artist. So it's energy. It's moving energy, and in a very positive way, not in I never ever use it in a negative way. It's always a healing. If something doesn't feel right, I'll move away from it and maybe regain or get back to that with the person if I see that we both were in different places and we're ready to relate differently. And then sometimes some people are just, you know, so that's my hope. I hope that I can touch the world with good energy and healing. And I think that through an internal place is the way the world can be changed. I don't think that's the biggest essence of an internal power to make a change and a shift through energy. The external is far behind the internal.